Interface Video, in cooperation with Fairfield Federal, presents Fairfield Today. Brought to you by Fairfield Federal Savings and Loan, Fairfield Medical Center, Fair Hope Hospice and Palliative Care, the Frankie Smith Funeral Home, Fairfield County Adam H., Dagger Law, and the Fairfield County Board of Developmental Disabilities.
Hello friends, and welcome to Fairfield Today. Paul Jasson with you. It's a beautiful day here in Lancaster and Fairfield County as we tape this morning in the lobby downtown of Fairfield Federal, right on the corner where sure won't be long, where at the gazebo, of course, even now every Friday night is packed down there with all the Friday night doings and some of the Saturday night with the movie things, but the festival is right around the corner. Everybody's looking forward to that. So lots going on, as generally there is here in Lancaster and Fairfield County. One of the things that over the, maybe the past decade, maybe longer than that, I've noticed that's really grown has been elder law. Some of us may know what that is, some of us may not. And we'll get an opinion on that, but I think it's really grown because the baby boomers have become elder law people. We need those services, and that's my opinion on why it's grown so much. There's a lot going on now in the world of elder law. Years ago, I didn't even know what it was, and of course, everybody knows about what it is, and we're going to discuss that now. We've got Jennifer Sitterley with us. Jennifer, welcome.
Thank you.
Do you think, and she is, of course, Sitterley Law down on the corner here in the beautifully restored Midoff building. Why do you think elder law has become, and maybe it isn't in your opinion, but in my opinion, it's become something that really people know about anymore?
I think because there's been so many great advancements in that field of law, it's become its own field in the last 10 years. Literally, Ohio State Bar Association, I think in 2013-ish, recognized it as a specialty. So It's not even been that long that it's been
so
its own
10
field.
years, 11 years? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And again, if you go down to Florida, where a lot of people retire down there, you see a lot of doctors down there who deal with hip replacements.
Yes.
And so things tend to gravitate to where the service is needed, and that's what I kind of thought about elder law now. And I know there are attorneys that usually specialize in something. Yours happened to be elder law. Was that always something you wanted to go in, or you just saw a need for it here?
I kind of fell into it, to be honest. So I was an accountant before I went to law school.
Okay.
Ended up going to law school, and in 2006, the year I went to law school, Ohio had completely redone the trust code. So it was literally a new area that was kind of exciting to be on the ground level because my professor was the guy who wrote it.
Nice.
So that's kind of how I fell into it. A little bit of luck, a little bit of...
Timing's everything.
Yes.
Yeah. I was looking at your website. It's sitterleylaw.com. It's a good website. Got a lot of good information on there on this and just legal stuff in general. But you were talking about this a little bit. It says elder law encompasses, and I'm sure this isn't everything, but it's estate planning, wills, trust, probate, special needs, guardianships, asset protection, long-term care planning. That's a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
That's a lot of things.
You have to be able to serve the needs of whoever the client is in front of you, and sometimes they have a variety of things going on in their life. So you have to be able to help them depending on their circumstances.
And some people need help in some or perhaps multiple areas
Agreed.
of that.
Yep.
I was looking up something about crucial things that people need, and dignity and respect, designated guardian, free from mental or physical abuse, privacy, anybody complaining about perhaps some abuse as an older person, maybe even at home or maybe in an institution. You probably see, of all those things, you probably see some of everything.
Yeah, and unfortunately, with the growth of internet, has also grown fraud, and seniors are particularly vulnerable.
And that's what you always hear on TV. Is don't give out. I bet you probably talk to people who are stuck in that.
Yeah, and I was honored to be part of Sheriff Lape's senior fraud awareness, and it is terrifying what goes on, and to the level, because seniors have a lifetime of life savings, and so they have all these resources, and yet they're vulnerable to not understanding how to vet people asking for money. It's scary. It's sad.
I think it's, just unbelievably horrible of some individuals who prey
Yes.
on these individuals. They obviously know where the weaknesses are.
Agreed.
Maybe they make 1,000 calls a day and all they have to do is hit one and
Right.
it's jackpot.
Right.
And I'm sure you've seen scenarios, and when they're in it, sometimes there's no way out.
Sometimes it's too late. I mean,
Yes,
if you
it's
wire
gone.
anything,
Yeah.
there's not much you can do.
Now they've become very
Oh, yeah.
sophisticated. And the websites look
It's
legit, I'm
emergency,
sure.
yes.
Some people who are probably very savvy individuals in the world, and maybe even on the internet, I bet some of them get poked a little bit.
And sometimes it's family members, which is even worse because they don't want to press charges,
Yeah.
So the best you can do is prevent it from
Yes.
continuing to happen.
Yeah.
So power of attorneys, I always recommend.
Yeah.
Power of
Yeah.
attorney is one of the best documents you can have to protect yourself. Just make sure you name trusted individuals. So that's one little plug for legal documents, but that's probably the biggest safety net anyone can have over the age of 18. I mean, I joke, but this is true. When I turned 18, my dad said, "Happy birthday, here's some power of attorneys." So,
He knew though, didn't
yes.
he? Yeah.
If I had car problems, he wouldn't be able to legally help me without the authority to do so. So it's not just for elderly people, it's for adults of any age.
So there's, well, I guess just a myriad of things that maybe that's the one. Do you see institutions where things happen? Maybe, I don't know if you see much around here. Maybe you do, but I'm sure there are moments.
Yes, we've had we've had some crazy cases in the last year. I mean, it even goes to kidnapping. I mean, it's awful, but there are there's safety nets in any circumstance. It's never too late. I don't want people to think, oh, well, it's all gone, I can't do anything. You can. You just have to call the right people, use the right resources, stop it from continuing.
Over the years, as family members have gotten older, in my family as an example, I can think this has been years ago when maybe siblings of my wife or somebody ended up being in the hospital, and I saw right away, and I've told people every time I see them, you need to have an advocate. Now, maybe this isn't a person, if you're just going in the hospital and you're unconscious, maybe they aren't your designating, but somebody needs to watch over you. So some individual in there, nurse or a doctor, doesn't give you 10 times the quantity of something that it's supposed to be, and all of a sudden it turns into a nightmare.
Wow.
You need to have people watching for
It's
you.
absolutely helpful. You're your own best advocate, and if you can't do it, you need someone who you can trust to help.
Yeah.
Yes.
And those are questions, I guess, when you go in the hospital, they ask some of those questions right away. They want to know because they
Agreed.
want to protect themselves, obviously, like that.
And they want to provide the best service they can,
Sure.
and sometimes it's helpful
Sure.
to have helpers.
Yeah.
You're not giving up rights. You're just adding to your options.
Do you think anything's changing in the future as we move through elderly law? We talked about a lot of things that you've done for 10 years. You've worked through all these scenarios. You've seen that. Is it evolving into something different?
Yeah, so long-term care is exploding because, as you said, baby boomers are aging. We have a huge population. We are running short on people to provide those services.
You go to any nursing home and you can tell they're like any fast food joint. They're
Agreed.
having trouble getting people.
Which means the cost is going up exponentially. And no matter how well you've planned, it's near impossible to plan exactly what you're going to need and for what time period.
Yeah.
And so asset protection has become a huge part of what we do because you don't have to spend everything as long as you do it the right way. And I just see that continuing to evolve as supply and demand evolve.
And I guess there's a way to do that in terms of selling your house or making sure whose name it's in, or if there's two of you, who is left, if there's one person left behind, or if one's already gone, maybe who that person designates and how they handle that. That's all part of this big jigsaw puzzle called elder law.
Yes, it's a lot. I like to separate estate planning from asset protection. They're two different things.
Estate planning and asset protection. Okay.
Estate planning is for after your lifetime. That's the traditional will trust documents. But asset protection is during your lifetime. That's where you have the power of attorneys. That's where you get the long-term care benefits that you need without having to spend all your money. So they're two different things. One's during lifetime and one is after. And that's even after lifetime has evolved because Ohio eliminated estate tax. And a lot of people don't know that if they don't do this every day. Since 2013 in Ohio, there's no estate tax, so there's no need to go through probate anymore, which is a very costly, timely
That's
process.
what you always hear. We don't want to get caught going through probate.
Exactly, and a will requires probate, so that's the biggest misconception. For years and decades, everyone said you need a will. But now it's still an option, but it may not be the best option because it requires probate. So that's the biggest kind of update that I'm trying to inform everybody that is not necessarily a best option anymore, because you can't deduct the cost of going through probate from estate tax because there's no longer an estate tax.
My guest has been Jennifer Sitterley with Sitterley Law, sitterleylaw.com.
Yes.
The website. Your phone number is?
740-681-1765.
Very good. She does a great job down there. I know that I can speak for that, but there are lots of attorneys out there, so I'm sure she would say, get hopping on that. You're never too young, I guess. When you turn 18, you start doing things. Get on it.
Yes, agreed.
Yeah.
That's your biggest safety net.
Yep. Down there in the Midoff building. Jennifer, thank you. We'll have you back.
Thank you.
Things going on all the time. It never stops.
No, it's
Very
busy.
good. Thanks for coming
Thank you,
in.
Paul.
Jennifer Sitterley. We'll be back in just a moment.
The Lancaster Festival returns for its 39th season, July 20th through 29th. Experience 9-time Grammy-winning singer-songwriter Sheryl Crow. Get tickets now at lancasterfestival.org.
You walked down the aisle and promised happily ever after. Sometimes happily ever after means ending a relationship. We know the conversations are not easy. Deciding what's best for you, your children, and your next steps takes work and communication. At Dagger Law, we know there are no monsters in a divorce, only people trying to find their way. Local, trusted, experienced. Dagger Law.
The staff that have been here know what it takes. They've been on the other side. They see what it takes to make someone comfortable, to make the family comfortable, and really what kind of support they need. And so I think that's what really makes Fairfield what it is.
My name is Allie. I just became 14 years sober at the end of last month. Through the support of my family and friends, I got the courage to ask for help. And through treatment services and the recovery community, I was able to start my recovery journey. Now I get to work as a peer supporter and an addiction treatment navigator, where I get to help the next sick and suffering. If you don't have family and friends that can support you right now, you can find those supports through treatment providers, the recovery community, and peer supporters like me. Every life matters, and your recovery is worth it.
This message is brought to you by the Fairfield County Adam H. Board.
The Frankie Smith Funeral Home and Crematory in Lancaster and the Johnson Smith Funeral Home in Baltimore have a long and wonderful history of serving our community. Feel free to give us a call at 740-653-0652. Stop in and see us at either of our two locations, 405 North Columbus Street in Lancaster and 207 South Main Street in Baltimore. Respect for tradition, regard for change.
Thanks for joining us again on Fairfield Today. We are here in the lobby of Fairfield Federal downtown, and we appreciate Jennifer Sitterley coming in and chatting about the things going on there in her world. We're going to change that up a little bit, as we mentioned in the intro. Lancaster Festival right around the corner, and you certainly think of the world of art and all kinds of arts, performing and visual and otherwise. One of the people I think probably will have a big part of the Lancaster Festival, we'll chat with her about that, is Karla Young. Karla is the owner of Young At Art, oddly enough on your shirt right there. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
It's been several years, maybe during the festival last time we were downtown, which we'll be doing again this year. We'll be downtown again. But probably that's a super busy time for you on top of everything you normally do.
It is. But
What
it's a good busy.
You do some work for the festival each year?
Well, some for the festival each year, yes. I teach at General Sherman Junior High.
Sure.
And we have student artwork that we will be putting up in the building right behind the fountain.
For Art Walk,
For the
probably.
Art Walk,
Yeah.
yes.
That's an exciting time. I had a grandson
is.
years ago, had art, and it's like consumed us, the whole family. We have to go down and see
Yes.
it. I think it was when the school board was downtown. It was in their building
That
down
is
there.
where it is.
But is that where it is?
Yes.
Yeah, but it's and for all the parents and grandparents and friends of everybody like that, that's an exciting time.
We have work from kindergarten all the way through 12th grade on display.
How many kids?
Oh, how many kids' work is on display?
Yeah.
Oh, it's hundreds.
Really?
It is hundreds. I mean, just me alone, I think I take in about 50 pieces, and I'm one of 9 teachers in the
How
district.
long has that
so.
kind of been building to this point? You started on this quite a while ago? School
Yeah, I
year
mean,
started?
We collect work all throughout the school year
Okay.
to be displayed.
And then kind of you picked the piece that of some students that you
Right.
went with. Well, tell us about Young at Art. You're on 6th Avenue there, across from the Kroger gas station, behind the financial institution, right on the alley. We know right where the building is. Nice little focus on imaging. I can't think what was in there before, but
Yes.
you've
It was
been
a
there.
hair salon.
Yes, hair salon. You're there now. You've renovated it. Fabulous place. How'd you get started in this? You're an art teacher, so I guess it's a natural evolution.
Right. Well, the origin of Young at Art goes way back. I was right out of college, and I taught art in Gahanna at an elementary school there. And then as life happens, I got married. We decided to try for children. I got pregnant with my son, who's now 21, Bryce. And I decided to take a step back from teaching full-time but I wanted to keep my foot in it, so I decided maybe I could try some art lessons just out of the house.
Work on your schedule.
And work in my schedule. So that's how it started, and I ended up doing that for about 10 years. And that kept growing in my house to me getting a place to rent. I was on Main Street. It used to be called the Dog Patch. It's right next to Sparks Chiropractic, and I think Mills Realty is right there. And I had a little tiny 10 by 10 classroom. And I think I paid $200 a month in rent. But I ended up there for about 10 years. And then when my children, by that time I'd had a daughter as well. She's now 19, Avery. But I decided they were going into school, and it was time for me to do something else. So I closed the doors on Young at Art and started teaching in Lancaster. Mm-hmm. So I just finished my 15th year teaching with the Lancaster City Schools, where I too went to school. So it's kind of neat to be part of the district again now on the other side and be able to give back to the kids. But I started teaching, and I never thought I would start the art lessons again. I thought Young at Art was maybe just for a season, but I grew to miss it.
It's a long season.
I grew to miss those small groups of kids that just wanted to be there because they loved art so much, and supportive families,
And
passionate
perhaps not like
students.
kids at school where
It's
art
a little
is
different. Mandatory for the kids that I teach.
Yeah.
So it is different. And again, I started about 5 years ago. I had lots of people asking, are you ever going to do private lessons again? So I decided one night a week I would open up my house and start some private lessons, mostly for children of people that I knew. And that just grew to 2 nights a week, which grew to 3, which grew to 3 nights a week plus Saturday mornings. And it was getting to be too many people in and out of my home. So I found a place to rent. The original place this time around was over on Chestnut Street, around from the well. And I was there a little over a year. And the building sold, some things with ownership changed, and my needs had also grown by that point. I opened those doors with about 30 students, and with about 130, we decided to relocate, and I opened the doors to my current space just the beginning of March of this year, and we are pushing 200 students that come once a week for an hour when we have classes, and we have a splatter studio, and we have canvas painting parties.
That's what. Now you're getting ahead of me right here. I want to talk about this. Young at Art is your business. It's on 6th Avenue. The website is youngatart.studio. Okay, it's a good website. Lots of cool information on there. All the things she's talked about in terms of what they offer. But I think we want to know about that. I've heard you and our cameraman Shane talk about some young people you have in common. Sounds like you do a lot of cool stuff down there.
We try. We have something for everyone. We have the art lessons. We have they're for all ages.
I was going to say Young at Art is everybody?
It is now. It started for the young people and was a play on my last name, but we have grown and we have things now for all ages.
Very nice.
We have a splatter studio, which
I've heard some buzz about that.
Yes, it's become pretty popular. We have people that even travel from out of state that have seen it on the Ohio Road Trips Facebook page.
Yeah.
And people vacationing in the Hocking Hills often come, so I meet people from all over.
Nice.
But they come in and they put on a shower cap and safety glasses, a poncho, shoe covers, and they're given a canvas, and we wheel in the paint, and they can paint a masterpiece. They can splatter away. Sometimes they splatter each other. We've done team building and birthday parties, bridal showers, date nights, you name it. So
that is pretty interesting.
It's fun, lots of laughter. Everybody leaves with a smile and a masterpiece. So they have.
And you get that like by the hour. You run it by.
Yes.
Yeah.
I have on the website there is a link and people schedule on the hour.
Okay.
Yes.
Youngatart.studio is the website. Lots of cool information on there. So it really started out, I guess, what kind of the cheese that holds everything together are the lessons.
The lessons.
And that is for just young people?
Exactly. We have classes for ages 5 and 6.
Wow.
7 to 11, 12 to 17, and we have added an art exploration class for adults. So 5 years old all the way through adults. We have grown to now have a total of 6 instructors, myself and 5 others. And we have something going on every day of the week except for Sundays.
So what started out to just be a little thing to kind of just take up a little more time now has evolved into full-time plus teaching.
It is. It's a lot to juggle, but I'm passionate about it, and I enjoy it.
That's the difference, isn't it? If you enjoy what you're doing. And you've done this long enough now, I suspect you've done this in a time period where some people have come in there and evolved as they've gotten older to really pretty good artists. You've probably seen that.
Yes, very much so. And because years ago I did lessons as a stay-at-home mom, and now 20 years later, here I am again. I am getting children of people that I taught when I had my little tiny shop on Main Street.
About like teachers teaching the kids of when you first started. You know,
exactly.
It's amazing. So that's fun I'm sure for them to. I was here myself, honey, years ago.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is fun.
So are you involved in some festival? Again, we chatted a bit about that festival stuff coming up.
Not too much this year, other than the art walk.
Yeah.
And that's a big deal.
And all the art teachers at Lancaster, I'm sure in all the schools, not just Sherman, right? Right. But this is a big time to have this, probably your biggest showing in terms of numbers of kids and paintings.
Yes.
How many paintings will you have out there, do you think? And not you maybe, but everybody from Sherman.
As a district as a whole, I would guess maybe 400 or 500 pieces.
Really? That many? Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're all over different areas?
I
guess when I remember it, they were
just work down in the old where the school board meetings were, kind of behind Big Brothers Big Sisters off the alley.
Right, that area down there. Okay,
we're all spread out in that building.
Yeah.
Yes,
because I know there's art all over town, not necessarily
Right.
by kids, but there's artists everywhere. But that's always kind of been the key for the school kids.
Yes. Well, there's 9 art teachers in the Lancaster City Schools, and I know just myself, I've got about 50 pieces that I'm taking. Some people a little bit more, some a little bit less. So it's a huge display of the best of the best.
Talking with Karla Young. Karla is owner of Young at Art and the website youngatart.studio. Again, a good website to find all that. So if people are interested in terms of either lessons for themselves, or maybe they have a grandchild or even a child, what's your number? How do they get a hold of you? Just give you a call, give the office a call?
They can go to the website, and there is a Contact Us link.
Okay.
So there's a form on the website they can fill out and give us specific questions with all of their contact information, or they're always free to call or text. The number is 740-215-3198.
Well, I tell you, just, hearing things around town, especially the splatter studio, I guess that's what kind of generates the most buzz. But the young people and all the cool things they do down there, it's pretty exciting in your world.
Thank you.
Yeah, congratulations. I mean, to get to do the things like you do, and you enjoy what you do, that's obvious. How fun is this?
It is. It's quite a blessing.
Is this the best time of your life right now, to be enjoying all this?
Today's my birthday.
Is that right?
Yes.
Well, congratulations to you.
And
happy birthday.
I always get a little sentimental, but I started thinking really hard about this past year, and it really is the best time. 51 years old, and I'm in the best season right now.
Nice. Well, congratulations. It shows. You can tell you enjoy what you do. Young at Art, the studio, it's all on the website. youngatart.studio is the website. Thanks for joining us today. We've loved talking about it. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Sure, thank you. Thank you for joining us on Fairfield Today.
Interface Video, in cooperation with Fairfield Federal, presents Fairfield Today. Brought to you by Fairfield Federal Savings and Loan, Fairfield Medical Center, Fair Hope Hospice and Palliative Care, the Frankie Smith Funeral Home, Fairfield County Adam H., Dagger Law, and the Fairfield County Board of Developmental Disabilities.